Guys, sorry, I got kicked off on my internet, whether it be the wind, whether it be the fact that I have to pick up on my city, or whether it be the boy's dad actually made a comment to the social worker today and said either she is just antagonizing and winding it up, or like she's being targeted, something's going on. So I think that sort of hit home to me today, to the reality that yes, my internet could be interrupted, and yes, maybe my voice does matter. And rather than being a fucking angry, pissed off mother, that now maybe there's something more that I could do. And I was talking before I got cut off on my live that when I was in an army wife and I was in the community, it didn't matter whether or not it was a case of I had a cough and a cold and a flu and just wanted to stay snug, and the army would let you know my husband go and just drop kids off at nursery and then go into work a little bit later if he really could. Like I'd have to be sick as a dog for that, but they were quite lax. There was always somebody across the road who would help you out if it was, we were going into hospital because you'd just given birth. There would be somebody, you'd come back and stuff like that. And if, say, somebody like me with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and I'm getting carried off in a fucking ambulance and I've got kids at home, it was a community that would come together, and I would know I can go in the back of that freaking ambulance and I'd know that things were taken care of and that would be fine. Okay, they probably, it wasn't as, it's not like when mum's away, everything's great, do you know what I mean? But when I came into suburbia, I went in the back of an ambulance thinking, who the fuck's going to watch my kids? And as it was, somebody short term quickly took the kids. But then it was like, but with Liam and Daniel, it was lucky because I had Graham, and it didn't matter what situation it was, Graham was always there for his kids. Never was he not there for the kids. And if he couldn't get there quick enough, his mum was there, or his wife was there. And I could actually even ask his wife to pick kids up from school. She even gave me space to study when I was at uni. So um, um, so it was just a totally different community. I lived in social housing up until the age I was 11, and as a child, okay, I had other stuff going on, which I'll talk about, but there was community. I'm not drunk, I've got roller skates on if I keep flying all over the place. I've been over to drop some nappies off for one of the mums, so I thought it was quicker to get my roller skates on, and didn't pick up, and find it easier on my roller skates now. And it's really windy out here, so it's really fun. So at the end of the day, I was talking to somebody the other day that if we came together as collective communities and made sure, even if it was a case of shopping, because Dean made just not to discuss Dean, because we're drawing barriers now. I'm going to be moving independently, and so is he. So obviously still parenting, codependent, still co-parenting, but establishing that relationship with us while we both grow, back into our lives. So, but he made a very poignant thing today. Or the other day, I think it was something he was reading, and he was talking about being able to make a meal from £3. And we don't need to buy things in bulk where we're throwing things out and stuff like that. And we don't necessarily need to be shopping the way that we are and overexpending. Like, I borrowed £20 off Jamie, my friend, upstairs the other day, and I missed Asda, and I had to go over to what's now Spar, but it was Co-op. And a pack of very small nappies is like £4.99 or something, and the basics that I need, it's sort of that 20 quid's gone. So then that means then nappies have gone out, and obviously I have, for the last sort of week budgeting, I have to get to the 18th or 15th when Dean gets his as his, but it's and then he'll sort of tail me over for a few days. But like, I actually borrowed a tenner off my son today and went up to Asda, where I was able to get a big pack of nappies for £4 something, and like 4 times the nappies, and the same things for a tenner. And it's like, living in this community is just so unfunctional. It's not purpose built. It's like it makes life so much harder. And there's so many different things that go on here. And it's like, how do people live like this? How do people tolerate the way they're living? And I'm really fortunate to have had so many different lifestyles in my life, be it, you know, being in an army environment, being owning my own home, be it living on a farm, be it being in different private rentals that I've had, different relationships I've had, and it's given me, or even my own parents, I'm wobbling all over the place on roller skates again. So, um, you know, all of these different things. So I can sort of look at things at a different point of view. And as I sort of pop my head up around my community, it's really difficult. There's thousands of people here, like thousands, because it's 7-story block towers. So, and it's like 1, 2, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8 per floor. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. And then it looks like fucking Pontins all the way around with 4, 5, 6 block flat places. And obviously we've got the council office. So but we've had notification today, which is really interesting, that everyone's plants and everything have been moved in. Fire safety notice. I'll have a letter somewhere, but basically now what they're basically saying is we've got till 27th to move anything and everything that is in hallways or out, anything that makes this look like a nice little place, which is why I have my plant back. This plant was stolen from me, but I managed to get the plant back, so it's done downstairs. And got my plant pot back the other day. So anyway, complete lockdown, fire, safeties, all of this stuff. So, but anyway, social worker's been out. She's writing a letter for my manager's move. Been here before, but it's being approved by main managers now. Dave Sambell and John Wright, who are the 2 managers here, the 2 different positions. And of course, they always know that I email the chief executive. So anyway, I've been on before once, and I've been on now. I don't know how long I've done. So what I'm basically sort of saying to people is, if it hadn't been for people here, there, you know, and I'm not talking about people who are my family. I'm not talking about people who are, you know, my friends that I'm sitting around having dinner and meals with and going off and going on family, you know, friends holidays and stuff like that. I'm talking about people who are my next door neighbours. I'm talking about people that we don't necessarily have stuff in common. You know, we don't have hobbies in common. We don't have necessarily conversations in common, but we are part of a community. Therefore, there are common, you know, home lifestyles and respect and things like that, or try to be or not to be. But really here, it's very quiet. It's very dead. Yeah, we've had many conversations about places like this today. So, yeah, lots on my mind. I'm a bit pissed off because I haven't managed, because I don't have a phone, I can't take photographs. I've got a lot of stock here. My car is completely trapped at the moment until I'm paid, because I've got to get the petrol to get up to Honda to get it through this fucking recall that's apparently on my car. It's now been recalled. The courts have now removing money from my universal credits to pay fees and fines and shit like that, and apparently they're taking it in 2 installments. I'll find out in another couple of days. I'm trapped with my car insurance because the courts have subpoenaed 9 points on my license plus 800 and something fine for absolutely fucking nothing, and proof of nothing. And so that then means I can't change the car insurance over from my other car because now the premiums are way too high. So I'm not in affordability for that. And also means I can't do the driving jobs I want to do because I've got points. So I haven't been able to put the sales stuff up. So my parcel is still with Portsmouth because it came through Miami. I've paid for the postage, but they've charged me here from it coming from America. So I've been charged another further £29. So they won't release my parcel. I'm not paid until the 18th, so I can't get the parcel released. I need it here for the 13th. Because if I don't do this, and I've put a lot of money into this that I don't have, I have managed to get the funds back because they took my page down, and they've apologised and put my page back up. And obviously that means then when I do this video, it means Forced Adoption Exposed is going to go over on a multi-million platform and highlight Forced Adoption Exposed. So if this doesn't turn up, I let you guys down, I let my kids down, I let myself down. So I need something to happen. Now the woman on floor 4 here, I know works for the Royal Mail, so I'm going to hopefully see if she's having a fag outside tonight, and I can sort of say, look, is there any way you can jibe someone to say, look, will you just do a goodwill and let it go, and let's discuss why people are getting these charges. The other good thing is I have now found a local person here who does one print on t-shirts, hoodies and everything. So I'm going to start getting all the I'm Stepping Up for Britain stuff out. Yes, it makes me some money, not much, but what it does is it gives me the money for the petrol to get to the families that I need to go and do what I need to do. And also gives me the breathing space to not keep running around trying to sell things, so I can get these fucking 3 books written properly. And also the fact that my children need a garden and a home, and I have to have some form of income as a working mum and provider and dean and stuff like that. It's like he's been doing free parties his whole life, and it's like he's not dancing, singing, rapping, fucking MCing, producing music for nobody for free anymore. In fact, I should write on the BBC, investigate the people who play all Dean's music and never gave him a fucking penny because they class him as a street rat. That's a good investigation. I should discuss that with him in a minute and see if he wants me to post anything. So also, if you have seen the post I've put out is what do you want the BBC to investigate, then please do put underneath and get more and more of our stories out underneath that post. That would be great. If people can start kicking Boris Johnson's arse now by writing peasants pleading for help letters that the state have taken their children and please help, don't know what to do letters, that would be wonderful. But please, please, please do get your information. I will repost, in fact I will do it now, and I will repost the blog from Researching Reforms. Get out in your networks, get people on it, post it to people, PM people, get every single person producing their evidence over to the president of the family division. Make sure it goes out to parent alienation networks, to forced adoption networks, to long-term foster care networks, to any person affected by the family courts or threat of the family courts. Also, so you know, I will read this out to you for those who remember Corey Feldman. And in March, as we march, Corey Feldman's new documentary that will expose Hollywood's paedophile ring will be aired only once. It's not clear if even a trailer or any footage from the film will be revealed beforehand. And for those that don't know, actor Corey Film's new documentary called My Truth, The Rape of Two Coreys, which is set to release on March 9th, is touted to be the provocative exposure where the musicians and one-time teen idol will reveal the details of the most emotional, trying period of his life. However, there is a catch. For the much anticipated documentaries, viewers will only get one chance to watch the film. Now, this is going to be interesting because what will happen is he'll probably have like a YouTube thing where people maybe pay or he'll get some money or whatever. I don't know. But I will be there to watch and see what happens. Have a read through, so we'll be watching live stream, and it's going to be a private screening. But if those that don't know about Corey Haim and Corey Feldman, if you look back at my original campaign when I first came on the track about this, it was said for you, and it was I had Corey Haim, and those that know the story, I used to draw his tattoo as a kid and sad eyes, and went on a bit of a journey on what was going on with him and why he was and why I had that sort of thing. It's only posted on my wall, and obviously, you know, normal girl who watched all the films, we all, things like that. So and then obviously going into psychology and coaching many people who had been through sexual, physical, emotional abuse, and more things coming apparent, and names and stuff like that. And there's many of us that have been doing this. So please, if you were in foster care and you've had your children taken as a result of being in foster care, please submit that evidence too. We have an opportunity here, guys, and it's a big one. So please, it's in there. Researching form, the email is there. Email. I've already got the questions what we're going to be asking, so where and what the framework is coming in. So, and we'll go into my email to pick that up, and then that will go out onto the networks so people know what they're going to be looking at and pulling in. As you know, they only get so much funding, but we need to push this into pushing them by forming ourselves now, by saying, look, these ways of working don't no longer work. We're now under a UK that needs to be helping people, basically. We can't be putting people down. We have no right to judge other people. If you can't help people, don't hinder them, get on with your own life. But it doesn't mean that we have to be greedy. It doesn't mean that we have to be treading over people. It doesn't mean that we need to be manipulating people. It doesn't mean that we need to be harming other people. It just means that we get on our way. We have our families, we have our friends, our circles, and we pass people. But we can't work as individuals. We need to co-create with each other. I suppose it's like a carbon footprint, really, isn't it? It's like, do you leave places better than when you were there, or do you leave it worse? Or so we all got to be responsible for the litter. We've all got to be responsible for the way we do things. We've all got to get our shit together, our homes in order, and just be the people that we were meant to be. Do you know what I mean? Or are, or want to be. And the challenge that social services have got is the clients that they have is the majority of them don't know who they are. So there's layers that they can't get to, and we're in a system where you can't expose the problems, because if you expose the problems you fall below the threshold, and then the system comes in from a different angle than child protection and early years funding and all of this blah 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 blah. But all this information needs to be presented to the people that are doing it and giving them some form of understanding that goes, look, you ask us to have a look at the consequences of our actions, but you need to be seeing the consequences of yours now, and look what you have done to, your people in this country. And we have to sort of go, well, hang on a minute, you're not actually 100% responsible, we're responsible, but these are the laws and regulations that you have created that we've been trying to be law-abiding citizens. That has been very difficult to do. And actually in this country, you might as well be fucking corrupt, because them cunts have been getting away with it for a long time. But some of us don't want to have to make those decisions to do that. I don't ever want to walk into a shop and nick nappies. Do you know what I mean? I don't ever want to be in that situation. I don't ever want to do that to myself. So there has to be some way of these things. But should our country be saying, look, nappies, one, shouldn't be taxed? We should be discussing these things. Should nappies be provided by pharmacists now and be free, to parents, rather than these situations? These are the things that we can be sitting down and sort of saying, look, we don't want these gates around our kids. Let's use trees. But hang on a minute, there are these things that we need to safeguard our children from. Not all children want to be in school. Do we want runaways? No, but they can hop over a fence if they really wanted to. So we have to ask, why don't children want to be in school? So it's all stuff up for discussion. Do you know what I mean? And it's not about pointing fingers at each other. It's just about us openly coming together and talking about this stuff, and taking back our own power and not being suppressed by what we don't understand, and educate ourselves, really, because we do need these infrastructures. But with infrastructure comes semantics, and so then we have systematics and we have systems, and sometimes these systems are good things to enable us to be happy, healthy and thriving, and we can be in resistance to these. But if they're not in line with who we are, then we can say no to these services, do you know what I mean, and just go on our way. But, you know, can I just, I really, really do need to be over in France, in Paris in March. It's a must, and I've got to get the funding. So I'm hoping to get some, you know, I have EDS, it has me sort of stuff out for the EDS stuff to fund all the things that I need to do for EDS stuff. And who knows, you know, I've got to get over there. It's a must. I've got to get my health right. So that's the big one for me. That's my goal. My health has to be right. Hence why I'm getting help with roller skates. I got a very bruised knee from the other day because I fell over. And then, yeah, you know, I want to get my home right. You know, the way that I live, what works for me, how to keep my body managed, how to keep this, whatever people seem to think this Asby is. I'm actually going to ask for a diagnosis check as well, because I think sometimes they can misconstrue trauma. And today, you know, I've said to the social worker, 100% I would have complex trauma. And also that I'm not dealing with narcissistic threats anymore from anybody, gaslighting, be it the council, threatening to take my stuff, being how that people handle me. And I need to focus on my own mental health, and not I've got mental health, but, you know, I need to focus on getting my mind straight, because I've taken a fucking battering these last 7 years, last 10 years before that. You know, so I just need to breathe and get out and find my dance partner and find my training partners to do this stuff, and find my community, really. But community in the things that I do rather than community in who I serve. Because there's the community that I serve, and then there's the community that serves me, if you know what I mean. So I need to find that community so I can be around people that are in line with who I am, less the tools and skills that I'm blessing people with, so they can sort of be who they should be, if you know what I mean. And also start, I don't know how I feel about this whole charging thing. I'm certainly not getting involved in all this coaching thing where it's like, you know, come along to my thing where it's going to be, I don't know, £197 or something. I'm not getting involved in all of that. I'm going to have my books. I sell my books and I have my products. It will come in. If people want to debate where my money goes to it, it's up to you. Fuck it. You know, I want to get to the point where I can really help people from home, and people can come to my home, and my children do have the space where, you know, they can thrive. And Shiloh's got his skateboard, you know, ramps in the garden, and his coach can come around in his little gym and stuff like that. And Elijah's got, you know, what he wants, and the space is there for all the kids. And how many fucking dads I've got, you know, you're welcome for coffee in my house anytime. You know, there's probably still a space for you somewhere in the home if you need to spend some time with the kids. And I'm just going to have to be that woman, I suppose. Maybe it's to teach women out there that, you know, doesn't matter what you go through with separation, but it's not about separating the kids from the other partner, do you know what I mean? And even separate couples sometimes have to be under the same roof, because what should a dad do? Go out on the streets? You know, what should a mum do? Go out on the streets? What should the kids do? Go out on the streets? So the family courts don't always necessarily work. They're only interested in assets and profit and gain. They're not interested in compassion, understanding, and mediation. And that's what it should be about. If couples separated who were married actually pulled everybody from their weddings together and said, look, we're talking about divorce, so we want to get everybody that was our wedding together and decide whether this is the right thing, because you all said that you would stand before us and help us and support us in our marriage. So as we are talking about annulling that marriage, therefore we're asking you to all come together. And who knows, we would probably save marriage if people did that. And on that note, I'm going to scoot off, and hopefully, whether my campaign stuff here is or not, I will see you all on the 13th for End It. Whatever you think. Fucking Red X is just saying no. You know, we don't tolerate this shit anymore. And obviously there's going to be more stuff coming out, but I wasn't there. I don't know. All I know is my kids were taken. It's 150,000 for me to go to court. Is court the right way? Should I just be knocking the kills down and going kidnapping my kids and shooting people in the head and just fucking off and doing what I want with a bunch of lump money and being corrupt? Or, you know, I told Liam today, I'm going to bring Aaron and Faith back, you know, and he said, I know, Mum, I actually believe you will. And I said, I promise you, I'm going to bring Aaron and Faith home. So I'm going to bring Aaron and Faith home because I can't move on with my life otherwise. How do I, you know, how do I keep having to pursue this if, you know, the reality is I can go to court and bring them home because the orders are illegal, and I can get on with my life. And if, you know, men in my life don't understand that I have 6 kids, 7 for justice, then I don't need anybody in my life. And if anyone thinks I'm a lesbian, if I wanted to go out there and find a wife, I'd go out there and find a wife. That's not my bat to follow. You know, went through it in the mind, has had people freaking women hold my head down or whatever, but my search was for my husband 100%. And you know, I am straight. Persecute me for being straight. You know, what is it? Persecute the marriage now. Anyway, catch you all later. But please, 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 everybody, if you've been affected by the family courts, please, please submit your evidence. And if you don't have evidence, fuck off and get out of our ways. This is for people who really, really, really have been through miscarriage of justice through the family courts, or if you feel that you can add value on how they can do this better, because there has to be some form of structure to protect children, because there's some right cunts out there, and there has to be some way of dealing with it. So how do we, the community, decide how we're going to deal with and where the line is? This is the thing, where is the line? You know, if some dad wants to give their kids a crack, is it the law to say no, smacking's not allowed? You know, psychology is so far behind itself. How do we ever really know the trauma of anything? Because people back then that got a slap are looking at the way kids are now and going, getting a slap didn't do me any harm. Have you seen the kids now? So what's right, what's wrong? Let's discuss it. See you later. Bye.